reminder, this session is being recorded. Please don't share any personal information in the Q&A feature on your screen. If you have not set up the view to be side by side, you can do so at the top center of your screen where it shows the view. We'll have time for questions and answers at the very end. Please wait until then to pose your questions. We'll get started now.
Hello, my name is Ivan Evans and I am the Provost of Eleanor Roosevelt College, known as ERC. Congratulations on being admitted to one of the top universities in the world. At UC San Diego, you are guaranteed to learn from some of the best academics, teachers, and researchers in the world. Often, the names on your textbooks will be the professors in your classes. You will have ample opportunity to participate in labs, theater and dance workshops, and travel abroad together with professors and instructors. At ERC, you will be a member of a community that is committed to international justice and peace. You will join global seminars and other programs that immerse students in communities around the world. ERC is known as the International College for good reason. Proudly, our motto is scholarship, leadership, and service. Now, I would like to pass you over to our two deans and our director of residence life, to Sarah Spear Barrett, and to Ray Guerrero, and to Ashton Cleveland, who has just joined the staff at ERC a week or two ago. To begin, I will now turn it over to the Dean of Advising, Sarah Spear Barrett.
Thank you, Yvonne. Let's talk a little bit about what you would get when you come to ERC and UC San Diego. I think it's important to think about what you might get out of a university education. At UC San Diego, you can expect to be challenged to think deeper, to consider your career and profession, not just a job and job skills, and to be engaged in the learning process, to own your education. Much of what we have to offer it's different from our sister schools at the North. So what makes us so unique? Each of our 7 liberal arts colleges has its own unique philosophy, which is reflected in our general education curriculum. You can be any of the over 160 majors in each of these colleges, so it allows another layer of diversity for you. You might be an engineer and your roommate might be a literature major, or maybe a sociology major is rooming with a biology major. You're all sharing a shared general education curriculum, but your majors are different. You are surrounded with people with diverse interests and future plans. You are fortunate enough to have been admitted to Eleanor Roosevelt College, ERC. One of the reasons for the college system is to help make what could be a really chaotic experience in a large institution more centered on the student and left with us to help you figure out the navigation. That's part of what our jobs are here in the college. At Eleanor Roosevelt College, our mission is important in our curricular as well as our co-curricular programs. No matter a student's major or career objectives, global competency is valuable. We believe strongly in developing global citizens through scholarship, leadership, and service, regardless of your major or career goals. When you think about an academic overview, it's important that you understand you have many opportunities to explore academic options. In many cases, you've never heard of some of the major options we have available to you, so be open to exploring new things. You may choose any of the over 150 majors at UC San Diego. Some of those majors are called capped or rather impacted and have admissions requirements. Unlike other universities where you are clustered by major, here you're clustered by college. As mentioned in the previous slides, we do have what are called capped majors here at UC San Diego, and that means it has limited enrollment. So for students who weren't automatically admitted to one of these listed majors here, you would have to apply to get into the major. The information on capped majors is listed in the link here, and you can use the QR code to get to that. In some cases, it's very difficult to get into a capped major, and so we want to be sure that you consider all of your options and look at other alternative majors that might exist here at UC San Diego. There is no guarantee that you would be admitted to a capped major if you were not admitted already. So in looking at your degree, I think of it as a pie chart with 3 parts of it. The first is your Eleanor Roosevelt College requirements. And as you can see, and as Yvonne mentioned, the issues of scholarship, leadership, and service are true throughout our curriculum as well as our co-curricular activities. Your academics in college may shape your outlook, and what you're considering is what it means to be an educated person. We offer a traditional liberal arts perspective, but weave in the focus on global issues, histories, and values and their impact on society today. Many of your lower division major requirements will also meet general education requirements and vice versa. This helps students explore major options for those who are undeclared or may want to change majors. The Eleanor Roosevelt College General Education curriculum consists of our course sequence, Making of the Modern World, fondly known as MMW, which is a 5-quarter sequence which also incorporates the university's writing requirement. So you'll have no separate English requirement. This is an interdisciplinary course sequence taught by faculty from departments in literature, political science, sociology, anthropology, visual arts, across the plethora in the social sciences and humanities. It's looking at the development of our cultures through a historical lens across cultures. So it's not a world history course, and it needs to be clear. We also require 2 courses in the sciences, 2 courses in quantitative skills, also known as math areas, but no calculus is necessarily required. 1 course in the fine arts, a proficiency in a foreign language, which is equivalent to around the 4th year level in high school, and then 3 courses in a regional specialization. Those are usually taken your sophomore through senior year, or if you choose to study abroad. Your major will have both lower division introductory courses as well as upper division courses that are more specialized. The 3rd quadrant could include electives, minors, or a second major, or often if you've taken AP or International Baccalaureate tests that may not apply to a specific requirement, those units can help you meet this requirement area as well. So each of our majors, we've worked closely with the colleges to develop 4-year plans, which are available on this website. These are general plans, and we will update them for our fall 21 cohorts shortly, but does give you an idea of how your major requirements and the general education requirements are incorporated to finish in a 4-year time. You can also use the QR code to be able to land on that page. You can compare different majors across the college and see how the requirements fit in there. We also have an AP IB chart on our website, which we're working on updating shortly, that will show how your possible test scores might be applied towards your UC San Diego major and college requirements. Please be aware, as a first-year student, if you took community college courses, we do not accept IGETC in place of general education requirements, but we do articulate the courses you took from a community college to meet our requirements where possible. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ashton, our brand new Dean of Student Affairs.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, my name is Ashton Cleveland, and I'm the Dean of Student Affairs for Eleanor Roosevelt College. Here at Eleanor Roosevelt College, or ERC, our motto is developing world citizens through scholarship, leadership, and service. We consider ourselves a small community within a large university, a distinctive neighborhood, if you will. Well, you will build lifelong friendships. And to give you a vision of what I'm describing, here's a picture of our entire ERC freshman class at last year's orientation. As Dean of Student Affairs, I oversee a breadth of areas, one of which is student life programs. We know that many students who are leaders in high school continue that pattern at ERC within our very own student government called CIRC. Others find new leadership opportunities in campus-wide activities such as Greek life, athletics, and over 300 other student organizations. We find that students who are involved are successful as long as they balance their academic responsibilities appropriately. We can help hone these leadership skills at ERC so you can learn to balance your time and maximize your co-curricular experience. One student life program that makes ERC unique is Rockin' Roosevelt, our signature concert, which we put on every year. This year, for obvious reasons, we chose to bring that experience to the campus virtually over the course of 3 nights, where students got the opportunity to meet the artists, engage, ask questions, and of course, enjoy those performances. Lastly, in the Dean of Students Affairs office, I also hear violations of the Code of Conduct, academic integrity issues, and help students of concern get the support they need from our partners around the campus. We work with students in crisis to provide personalized student services in a supportive and safe environment. please do not hesitate to let me know how I can support you as you continue to thrive during your tenure here at UCSD. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ray Guerrero. I'm the Director of Residence Life for Eleanor Roosevelt College, and I'm here to talk about living on campus. Residence Life, which I have the privilege of supervising at Eleanor Roosevelt College, creates and fosters a positive community through educational, social, and cultural programming, ensuring a safe and secure environment, providing a high-quality living environment, and cultivating a culture of caring among our residents. So we invite all of you to come down and establish your second home here at Eleanor Roosevelt College. The next slide will talk a little bit about what's available. The ERC neighborhood consists of 4 areas in which you may be living as a new freshman or a new transfer. The residence halls, or also known as dorms, are the traditional living experience for first-year students. In addition to that, we have full-size apartments, as well as 2 living learning communities. International House, which is a campus-wide living learning community, the oldest on campus, and the Rasa Living Learning Community, a specialized living learning community for students interested in the Rasa heritage. For this fall, currently we plan on offering single or double occupancy rooms, and this is pending county guidelines towards the pandemic, which we are still awaiting. But currently, the plan is for single or double rooms. You'll have other opportunities today to talk to folks from housing, dining, and hospitality, as well as our resident advisor staff and staff from my own department to talk a little bit more about what housing entails and creating that second home. One thing you want to do is to make sure you stay abreast of all deadlines that are put forward by the university.
So before we go to our student panel, we want to review some of your next steps. We want to be sure that you take the time today to gather more information about your major and interest sessions that follow this session offered by our academic departments. We also want to encourage you to attend the information session held by housing, where a lot of your specific questions will be answered. Again, we are making this early in the time to predict fall quarter due to the pandemic. So some of the information we are offering is very general, and we hope to provide you with more information as time allows. We want to be sure that you check the Triton Day website for more information. Once you decide that UC San Diego and ERC is the place for you, be sure to accept your offer of admission by May 1st. That is a strict deadline. And for on-campus housing, you must submit your application no later than May 8th. After you accept it, we will send you information about the Eleanor Roosevelt College orientations and enrollment. This information goes out around mid-May.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashton Cleveland, the Dean of Student Affairs for Eleanor Roosevelt College, and I have the honor of serving as the moderator this morning for our student panel session. We have with us a star-studied class of individuals, and I'm referring to our student leaders here, all of whom I aspire to be like one day. So why don't you introduce yourselves? Let's do popcorn style, starting with our good friend, Greg.
Hi everyone, I'm Greg, pronouns he, him, his. I'm currently a 4th year data science major here at the best college, Eleanor Roosevelt College. Here in ERC, I'm involved as being a resident advisor and also being a part of our student government, among other things. It's popcorn to Kenji.
Hello, my name is Kenji. I actually recently graduated in winter 2021 with a Bachelor of Science in Business Psychology, and I originally came from Malaysia. And I've been involved in various aspects of ERC, but more specifically the study abroad program. I'm going to pass it on to Clara.
Hi everyone, my name's Clara. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a 3rd year here at UCSD and ERC, and my major is ecology, behavior, and evolution, which is in the biology department. I'm originally from North Hollywood, California. I'm also a 1st-generation student, that's important. And some of the things I'm involved with on campus are the garden in Eleanor Roosevelt College called Ellie's Garden, and I'm also involved in orientation. So I'll pass it over to Isabella.
Hello, I'm Isabella. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a 2nd year 1st gen student in ERC. My major is human health psychology with intended minors in cognitive science and biology. And I'm also a pre-med student. I'm originally from Atwater, California, so that's in the Central Valley. So if any of you guys are Central Valley, hi, see you. I'm part of the Student Council of ERC as one of the apartment representatives and recently elected AS Senator. I'm also a member of the Morning Sign Out. I was a writer for the Morning Sign Out, graphic designer, and social media intern. And I was also originally part of Camp Kesem, and I was in the AS first year internship. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. I currently live off campus, but I was on campus during my first year. And I'm going to pass it on to Bora.
Hey everyone, my name is Bora and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a second year studying mechanical engineering here at ERC, the best college, with an intended minor in entrepreneurship and innovation. I'm originally from San Ramon, California, which is also in the East San Francisco Bay Area. So hello to those of you from the Bay. And currently I'm involved with several student organizations. I'm serving as the director of finance on the Student Council of ERC. And I'm also a structures engineer with the Rocket Propulsion Laboratory, also here at UCSD. And I'm living on campus in Earth Hall North. So if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer it.
Awesome. So we have a slew of questions coming in. The first one is going to Greg. So Greg, are the floors organized by gender at ERC? Greg is an RA, by the way.
So for Eleanor Roosevelt College, we have four different housing kind of options. For first years, generally they're living in residence halls, which are kind of suites. Think of them like a little, I wouldn't say house, but kind of like a house, because you have like your kitchen on the bottom and you have like a living area and you have 6 rooms, 5 to 6 rooms with in the fall one or two roommates based off of like our county guidelines. And so those within your suites are the same gender. However, within a different floor, you might have a different gender. So for example, in my first year, my suite was an all boys suite. And for the suite next to me, it was an all girls suite. However, ERC first year can also be housed in apartments, and in apartments within the entire apartment, they're generally the same gender.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The next one is going to Clara. Is there a way to connect with another student who is also majoring in your same major to meet them and learn about their experience?
Sure, yeah. I mean, well, for one, you'll meet a lot of students who are your same year and of your major when you are a student at the university. You'll have a lot of classes together, and generally you'll kind of form a community of students who are of a similar major. But if you're specifically looking to talk with someone who has a similar major of you before you're admitted, I would definitely recommend there's going to look at your major department website. There are peer advisors and places that you could ask questions and get specific answers. You could also check out the ERC orientation page and see if there's anyone on there who might be able to answer your questions. So just reaching out and see what's there. There's a lot of online community spaces where you could connect with people and get those questions answered.
Yes, and we do have Facebook pages, Instagram, and all of that good stuff for our question. Next one is going to Kenji. Can you take a language you have not taken in high school for the language requirement?
Oh, most definitely. So I actually, since I studied abroad, I studied in Malaysia and grew up in Malaysia before coming to college here. So I actually waived out of the language requirement. However, you can definitely take any subject you'd like. And so I was actually contemplating on picking up Spanish, and that would have been 4 quarters for me to be proficient in it for ERC's requirements. However, if you already have credits from high school, those can definitely transfer over, and you can go to a higher level Spanish class at the start. Looking back now, I probably should have taken Spanish, and I kind of regret not doing so. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
That was great. Awesome. So, Isabella, you're up next. Is it hard for STEM students to balance coursework with ERC GE courses. And I actually know Bora is a STEM major as well. So you guys might be able to tag team this one, making work overtime, Bora.
I do find that it can be a little bit challenging to balance the ERC general education requirements and the STEM requirements. However, they recommend if you go to like advising, which I all recommend that everyone goes to advising and ask the advising to help fill out and create a 4-year plan. And not only just going to ERC advising, but also to your majors advising as well, because there's 2 different. They recommend generally that you at max take only 3 STEM classes just to help balance everything out. However, 2 STEM classes a quarter is usually recommended. But if you really keep yourself well organized, it is pretty, you will be able to manage it. I've been doing this online for a while and it has been a little bit tricky, but when I was in person, it was definitely the transition to learning how to balance myself was probably the hardest part. So you can always go to your academic advisors. They're always willing to help you out and get you on the right course and teaching you like, oh, maybe you should be taking this amount of classes. You should be taking maybe these classes at that specific time. And my best recommendation, I know a lot of students do this, I wouldn't really recommend stacking classes back to back. So like if you're doing build 1, I wouldn't recommend until doing build 2 till after, or taking chem and then a chem lab together, because that can also be difficult. But yeah, I would recommend definitely going to academic advising and figuring out a schedule that fits you best.
Awesome, some great advice in there. Yes, yes to a lot of the things you said. We're coming for you now, Bora. What are some of the traditions and community building activities unique to ERC?
We certainly do a lot of those, and student council particularly is responsible for putting on quite a few events. Some of the best ones, in my opinion, are Welcome Week, which I hope all of you next quarter, when you're here, will be able to experience. We'll have a week-long series of events with amazing food and activities for everybody to help our new students get involved here. We have MMW Blowout, which is an event that celebrates MMW, finishing MMW for the upperclassmen and going through MMW for all the lowerclassmen. We have the Ugly Sweater photo shoot, the ERC Winter Org Fair. We have quite a few events. And Greg, if you want to pick up there as well, I'm sure you have a lot more to add.
Yeah, I think a lot of the tradition that like ERC has is not just about like the events that we have, but it's also just like the culture that we bridge. And it's really about creating the second home in this community that we have in ERC. It's a very like unique part of campus where it's kind of like little kind of secluded, more off, right next to us the beach, which is great. You can see the views, the sunsets are amazing. But I think it allows for us to then really get to know each other, and how our college was built kind of has a really easy way of allowing for community building. So like everyone can think of the green, you can hang out at Cafe Ventanas, which is like our dining hall at ERC. There's just so many different not traditions, not just that Bora has said, but also I think ones that you can create throughout here at ERC.
Okay, I'm laughing at the next question, but not minimizing it at all. It's coming for you, Clara. Could y'all address the socially dead rumors? In terms of social life, do you see students typically staying within their college or expanding outwards? Good follow-up. However you want to address that one, Clara.
Yes, that's a great question. And that's definitely something that I've heard a lot of students be worried about, like as an orientation leader. I don't know why that's kind of this rumor that's around. It's not true at all. Something I will say, like in respect to your question about outside of your college or not, is the way a lot of students find community at our school is through like organizations. There's like a million organizations, and if there isn't one for something you like, you can create one. For example, like I said, I'm very involved in the garden at ERC. That was how I made some of my first friends. gardening, and a lot of orgs, I will say, are still functioning online. And in the fall, if that's a thing, there's still a social media presence. You can go out and kind of look and see what's there and meet people through that. So that's a big thing. I will also say that one of the many perks of having a college as your first community at our school is that that's a really great way of meeting people. I also made some of my first friends in my MMW classes, and we stay together for 6 quarters. So you really get to kind of create a community that way. So creating a community in your college is great. And then there are so many ways outside of that to meet people. There are clubs, there are fraternities and sororities, if that's something you're interested in. There's a very wide range of ways to meet people at our school, and you just gotta like poke around a little bit and they're right there, and you can start looking into that now. So that's totally not a real thing, and you will find your community here, whether it be in ERC or elsewhere or everywhere. It'll be great.
Thank you. Kenji, the next question goes to you. Are there opportunities to take GEs abroad? And generally, what is study abroad like?
Yeah, that question's perfect. So you can actually take, yes, you can take GEs abroad. So the courses that I took was actually out of the 5 Making of the Modern World, or MMW, the upper 2, 14 and 15, can actually be taken abroad. And so I took one of the MMW's 15s with Provost Evans in South Africa. And we did this trip for over 5 weeks in the summer of 2018. And so not only can you take GEs and have fun with it and do it abroad, but you can also do it in the context of having that world history while also being out in the world, not just in sunny San Diego over the summer. And another program that you can take is MMW 14, which I mentioned, that has abroad opportunities. Number 14, actually, ERC does provide a program called ERC Serves, which is 14 hybridized with a spring break trip to a location. And that is also a class I took, and it was tailored more towards the environment. This course was provided by Professor Matthew Herbst. And unfortunately, my trip got canceled because of COVID. However, I am very excited for anyone in the future taking that course because, again, GEs can have the reputation of being boring and required, but there are many opportunities to take them in a way that's more interesting to you. And so I really appreciate ERC providing these opportunities where possible.
Great answer, great answer. Thank you so much, Kenji. Isabella, you're up. How has UCSD and the Eleanor Roosevelt College helped you achieve your academic goals?
I think the biggest way that ERC and just UCSD overall has really helped me achieve the academic goals is really through the advising staff and all the help that they have given. A lot of these people, especially coming in as a first-gen student, I was very, very lost to the whole world of college because my parents never been. So, and my sister, she wasn't really like into college. So I was pretty much like on my own. So when it came to setting academic goals and achieving academic goals, really it was the advising on campus that helped so much. And a lot of the people here, like the Dean of Academic Affairs, Sarah, she does, and her team, they do a really good job at guiding students on where to go on campus and did the different places available on campus. Depending on your major, if you're a psych major like me, the psych advising does a really good job at helping you out, and any major academic advising will definitely help you. So I would definitely recommend talking to any academic advising, whether it be ERC or your major academic advising, for any questions that you may have, because they really do sit down and help you get through your goals and will support you in any way that you might need.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Greg, this is like a three-parter, so bear with me. Is it possible to share dorm rooms with students of other colleges? One, for example, I could share a room with a student from 7th College. I think the student already knows what they want. Could you request to dorm in a single room, or is it random? And I will say, with the caveat, that there is a HDH session, a housing session at 11:20 and at 12 o'clock. So for follow-up to Greg's answer, you would want to attend that as well.
Yeah, I definitely say attend the housing sessions. Also, if you want to catch me, hear my voice again, I'll be also at the Residence Life Q&A session later, along with all student affairs and advising. I feel like you all should definitely go to that too. So you can request roommates generally within the same college, bearing COVID community guidelines. There are like little loopholes that like you can go and request people from other colleges. However, they're based off of living learning communities. So within Eleanor Roosevelt College, the only place that we have living learning communities is our Rasa living learning community and our international house living learning community. And international house is generally reserved for second years and older as it's an application. Generally we don't allow for first years just due to the nature, and generally they have a lot older students. However, there are a lot of different other living communities within our campuses that if you possibly both of you and your friend get accepted to, you are technically allowed to then should be able to request each other. And on singles and doubles and it being random, I am not the most 100% sure. I would definitely say go to the housing session and see the information they give them. We are also taking COVID day by day, and as our campus has been open, I think with our amazing Return to Learn program. If you haven't checked out 60 Minutes, definitely check that out. We're on there. But we're taking it day by day, and we definitely, I think it's going to depend on really how the situation is in the fall. So can't give you a definite answer right now, unfortunately, but I think just keeping up with UCSD, I think is probably the best thing to do.
Good deal, good deal. Okay, Bora, can you describe MMW a little bit more? I've heard that MMW is really hard and many people do not like it. Is this true? What was your experience?
As I mentioned, I'm an engineering major, and people might be like, this is the antithesis. This is humanities. How can you make an engineering major take humanities? But let me tell you this. It's a 5-part sequence where you go over world history, starting from the first humans all the way up to today, the modern world that we live in. And let me tell you that it's given me a lot of perspective on how the world we live in today is. Besides being an engineering major, I'm also very interested in history and a little bit of geopolitics, and how better to understand the world that we live in today with all of its idiosyncrasies and the way we perceive our culture and interact with other peoples around us, than to literally explore the world from its beginning. I think that as ERC students, we benefit tremendously from the education that we get from MMW, just because it makes us all the more prepared for the world that we're living in, where we're better able to understand the different cultures, the different civilizations that have grown up around us. We can't just live in this bubble. We have to do more than that. And I think MMW is really important, and also a really interesting course that helps with that.
Well said, well said. And although I'm very new here, I've only been here for 2 months, I heard in the rumor mill that students who go through the MMW program could be the best writers. So just food for thought. MMW program is great. Clara, this one's for you. On average, how many hours are usually required to complete your schoolwork each day or evening, perhaps?
That is a great question. I think that there is a wide variety of the amount of hours that takes for students. One of the nicest things about college, and also maybe the most difficult, is that you are much more in charge of your time than you are in high school. You're in charge of your schedule with classes, and you're in charge of all the time that is in between and how you choose to spend it. So I think that one thing to keep in mind is that the amount of courses you choose to take is going to vary how many hours you spend studying for those courses. Some courses I've taken, like have homework that's due every week. Others, it's just like you really need to attend lecture and, pay really close attention, and then you'll be fine. It's like a wide variety. And what I would recommend would be talking to academic advising and kind of getting an idea from them, like if the classes you're taking are all classes that are going to require a fair amount of hours per week. For example, organic chemistry is a class I had to take. That's when you're going to be putting a significant amount of time into outside of class. So academic advising might advise you to take that, but take other classes that don't require as much time. So really, yeah, my biggest advice would be kind of talk to your advisor, talk to your peers, and figure out what the load is for each class, because it varies a wide amount.
Okay, we're going to take one more question, and heads up, Dean Spear Barrett, we're going to send it to you to wrap it up after this final question that's going to Kenji. So Kenji, can you talk a little bit more about your experience as a business psychology major, and what opportunities has it given you? And anything else you'd like to expound upon is fine.
Oh, definitely. I can give a little context on how I got into the major. I did not come into college with the intent of being a business psychology major. I came in actually as a pre-med. And then I took organic chemistry in my first quarter because I could at that time, testing out of requirements, but I found out from that quarter, pre-med was not for me. Medical was not really for me. And then I had a little bit of a exploratory phase of taking different classes that I could really sign up for. And I ended up going to global health, a little bit less medical, and then taking some business classes. And from those business classes, I enjoyed it so much because I wanted a business minor. But then I pivoted into trying out a psychology class for a quarter. And with that, I managed to really fall in love with psychology, especially social psychology. And I mixed social psychology together with my business classes to make the business psychology major. Just ended up falling into my lap in that way. And I still managed to graduate on time, which I'm very, very grateful for. So thank you. I would say that the opportunities that have arisen from me being in a business psychology major specifically is having these interdisciplinary classes of not just psychology, but also having the business route. And so I find I enjoy my major a lot within psychology because it's not only the psychology of like people and interactions, but also setting that in a business context. And so definitely learning and making those connections between those classes has helped me into going into my part-time job that I'm now transitioned to a full-time job that's outside where I'm doing human resource work. And so if it's asking specifically about what business psychology helps with is, again, the interdisciplinary focus and connecting ideas and concepts between classes.
Nice. Dean Spear Barrett, do you want to take us away?
Hi, everyone. So we just wanted to remind you of the last parts of what this morning will look like for you. We want to strongly encourage all of you to attend the housing live sessions that are happening this morning, which will answer some of the questions you were putting into the chat feature for us, and a lot of the general move-in questions and about timing. In addition, many of the major departments are also offering live sessions between 10:30 and 11:15 for major related guidance. And we have lots of questions about majors and specific questions there. So we want to recommend that you go to those sessions. All of that information is available in your Triton Day portal. So those will be your next steps. The college will also be hosting some live Q&A breakout rooms for you for general questions. We can't plan out your 4 years here or any of the specifics that way, but if you have some general questions, we're happy to work with you on those. And that live Q&A will happen between 10:30 and 1 p.m. and the password is in your Triton Day portal. Again, please be sure to go to some of those general sessions as well so you can get all of the information from the source. Good luck and congratulations and welcome to ERC.
Thank you so much, student panelists.